back to another episode of BadbolaMola with your boy Mola Bocha, and I'm super thankful to everybody who's been supporting in the previous two episodes. And for today's episode, I have two words. Mom, I want an HM.
So me think, why waste time? Say lot word when few word do trick.
And this is the story of my first entrepreneurial experience, which sort of made the path for everything that I do today. Now, as funny as it sounds, the story of this experience also starts with a fracture. And what happened was that I was coming back from the market on my bicycle, and I asked myself, what if I use this hand to hold this handle and this hand to hold the other handle? How will I drive?
No.
Now, with a broken leg, no need to go to school, and there was this bunch of outgrown t-shirts which were lying in my closet, and what I did was that I ended up painting this t-shirt. So I remember this was the time that there was this whole Ed Hardy vibe going on in school, and there was a lot of craze, and I was very sure it's way out of my reach. So what I did, I ended up painting my own Ed Hardy, and I was surprised. The kind of response that I got. I think Facebook was new, everybody was commenting, and everybody was new to the whole idea of being on Facebook. So what I did, I painted another t-shirt, and again I got a brilliant response from people, and I was like, maybe this is something worth giving a shot. And before I knew, I was getting people wanting me to paint their t-shirt, and I think that was something very new. That was something I did not see coming, but I got really excited about it, and I jumped right into it. Looking back, I realized that having support of people, having a bunch of people rooting for you is really encouraging. And I remember it was Mansi's friend, Soumya, who gave me my first order. And this was a barter deal against a pack of chocolates. And I think she was the first person who sort of supported me as an outsider. People would give me their blank t-shirts, and people would tell me that,
This is what I like, these are the things that I enjoy. Just make something for me, I don't mind.
And that really gave me a sense of confidence that the market, so to say, the audience is supporting what I'm doing. And then I took, or in fact, I was gifted the next step of this journey, which was having like a brand. And I remember I was just casually signing my t-shirts as HM, which is Harshit Manocha. And one of my friends, Mayur Bansal, who created a Facebook page called Mom, I Want an HM. Originally, it was called Fuck Ed Hardy, Mom, I Want an HM, but then we realized it may backfire very soon. And I realized it was super empowering. Like, I still cannot thank him enough till this date. And like, our family had a printing business back then, and I had always seen these visiting cards, letterheads, invoice diaries, and all of that. And I was super excited to have it for my own company. And that's what I ended up making. I made like all of this for myself. And it was a lot of fun, just, signing a very fake random invoice and having this very wannabe visiting card. I have this one copy left. It was in my mom's wallet. Yeah, it was a beautiful time. But I remember, like, my first pricing was a crazy story. We had a book fair at our school, and there's this one last copy of a book which my crush really wanted. And the book was priced at 250 rupees, and that's what I priced my first work as. And the next morning I cycled my way to school early morning in winter, and I got that copy of book, doodled a cute note on the back, on the last page, and gifted that book to her. Then I was just creating more and more orders, and I was posting it out there. In fact, it was a very funny story that I was called to the headmistress's office to tell that I can't be, just distributing and selling clothes back in school. And it's a very fond memory. I think looking back, I always mention about this memory because it meant that it was getting seen, it was getting the attention. I remember I used to go to school early before the school time started, and that was the time when we were doing these barters and these exchanges of the t-shirts. And once this entire t-shirt business was doing well, I started diversifying myself. I was painting clocks, I was painting watches, I was doing lunch boxes and whatnot. I started learning Photoshop, and it was a very funny story of how I learned it. I knew I wanted to get something done. I knew it happens on Photoshop. I had seen it somewhere. So what I did, I went to this digital studio. So I started working there like without payment or anything. I sort of sat down and started helping these people in their work so that I can just get to see this. And that's when I learned Photoshop. I figured out the pen tool which I really wanted to learn. I came back home and I experimented. A lot of people on Facebook, everybody had display pictures made by me. And it just felt kind of great that, having like that digital footprint. I started making products on Photoshop. So I remember I used to do these custom birthday cards and these custom notebooks. But there's this one thing, one realization which I'm super thankful for this entire experience. And it happened when I got sort of interviewed by this magazine called Creative Gaga. It was like that call changed how I felt about myself. And they wanted to ask me about my process. And it was in between talking to them that I had the best realization of my craft, that I loved listening to stories. And that all of my work was about talking to people, listening to their stories, and making a customized product for them. And I'm still into customized products, and they still make a lot of what I do. And it was this feeling, this realization that I treasure. And while we're at it, while we're in this video, I want to give a big shout out to my dad for helping me become a professional person more than just being a kid asking for money for paints. I remember like this is one time when I dropped a little paint somewhere on the t-shirt, like a random mark, and I converted it into a flower and just made a chotu motu more design. It's like, no, like you were making a product. It's something that people have paid you for, and this is not cool. Mola,
What is this behavior?
I'm not saying I'm the most professional artist, most professional person even now, but I think it just made me mindful of being more careful of doing the right things. And in fact, like I've also heard often, and like even my mom was also of that idea that, you're a child, you don't need to be making money, just study, do your own thing, don't get distracted in all of this. And it was my dad who constantly encouraged me. Like they did put a very funny boundary condition. So we used to have a Monday test and we used to get papers back on Friday. So if I did not get above 90% on a Friday, I was not allowed to paint on that weekend. And I think that's how I sort of earned my way to art. I always did well in academics then so that I can do well at my art. And it's just a very win-win-win scenario that ended up happening. Another important lesson that he taught me was that I need to price for my value. I need to understand how pricing works. And I remember soon after I understood it, I got like a 10x fold in my pricing. And it was for this bag. They came to me with this bag that, hey, can you correct this? And I realized that maybe I could. And they're like, okay, how much would you charge for it? And I realized that if somebody has an Ed Hardy bag, there's a value that they already put to it. Without me putting in the effort of correcting it, this bag has no worth of it. And I charged 2,500 for that bag. And I think at that age, it was an insane amount to be getting in hand. I remember they drove to my house. I went downstairs. I told them the price. And I had not told my parents by then that this is the price I'm going to ask them. And they literally, without any questions asked, they gave me these 5 notes of 500. And it is something which I still believe in, that every once in a while, the market will help me price myself better. I've had people for whom I tell them a price and they give me like double of it by saying that, you know what, you're not pricing yourself enough. This is what you deserve. And it feels heartwarming. And if you are that kind of a person who has ever done that to an artist, please pat yourself, because you are doing so much without knowing. But then came something that I did not see coming. And today it is what keeps me grounded, motivated, excited to experiment, to learn. And that was competition. And I got a very beautiful flavor of it. It was a bunch of juniors who started this sort of competitive brand. And I'm like, whoa, game on. And both of us, like all of us were sort of kids that back then. And we felt very territorial, like, tum 9th class koi dekho, tum 10th class koi dekho, and all of that. But I guess both of us sometimes realized that, this is the market and let the customer choose. and we started doing our very best. So yeah, that was a very alag level of experience. There's this one particular project which I absolutely love, and it was this small winter carnival that was happening in our city. So all of their team wanted to wear a specific hoodie, and I got commissioned. It's now that I even know the term called as commission, and it was like a full end-to-end process. And I remember I painted 18 hoodies in 36 hours. And this is how it looked like. This is a bunch of people wearing a hoodie that I had designed, and it felt brilliant. In that event, I was like walking in this entire swag, just everybody that you see here wearing my clothes. So my parents are teachers, and I feel that teaching is a very difficult profession. And I remember how hard they used to work and the kind of salary or the kind of money they used to get for it. And I felt it was really underpriced because I was making 250 rupees a painting, and I felt that no, I can't spend their money on stupid birthday gifts or parties or just trying things that I wanted to try. I remember I went and ate Senor Pepito once because it was a chips which I really liked, but I knew it was expensive. There's this restaurant close to our house which I really liked, but again I felt it was very expensive. So I started collecting money and going there once in a while for myself. And I think this was this whole exploration of how empowering earning from my craft was. And what I did then was that I took this payment. I got 5,000 for 20 hoodies. And I took this payment, I split it into two parts. I took 2,100 rupees and went to the Adidas store that I'd been visiting again and again in this time. And I had my eye on this one hoodie. I got that hoodie for myself. उसका एक अलग feel था वो बचपन में, उस class में और उसको कमाने में. In fact, I took the other half of the money and I took my family to Domino's and we ordered what we wanted. And I'm like, आज cheese burst खाएंगे and all of those things. It's beautiful. In fact, I have this one blog which I never published and incomplete also, but it is about the empowerment and the independence that I felt. In fact, now it is one thing which I really like to talk with young children and people who are very early in pursuing their passion, that you never know the kind of opportunity that lies if you just dive in. So just follow what you love doing and I will come back to you. So yeah, please subscribe and leave your comments about today's episode. Thank you. Bye-bye. I found purpose for the first time and how it beautifully felt.